Welcome back, everybody. We're over in Brazil now. As I mentioned, still Dolson Kresnik is with me now as we work our way through Ignite versus Tempest team. I levied a question, Krez, over to Fawn just prior to the break. If this Parallax squad was still the one that everyone is chasing over here in Brazil, I figure yes. Is that a sentiment you maybe echo?
I would say so. I do think that the players on some of these teams could contest them over time. I know some of these players have been grinding a lot, especially some of the teams we're watching now. Ignite Gaming with Deja Vu, Arg, who is one of the... It's just Deja Vu. Arg is just to say he's from Argentina, if I remember correctly. Deja Vu, who is the top GM last split. And that was a long split. That's a lot of Paladins that you have to play to be able to hold that and maintain it. And on the other side, Tempest team, they've been just scrimming Tier 2 for a while, really pushing it and trying to get better. And it clearly paid off. They were able to overcome the teams that were playing in the relegations in the Brazilian region, them and Ignite, both of those teams kind of taking out, I believe it was Os Balamansa and Team Clarity.
Right.
Some roster changes on their side, and a team that even was made with some of the remainder of Fatal Ambition in this region as well. They played and also lost to these two teams. So a lot of talent here. Even after we saw that the Team Clarities, the Fatal Ambitions, taking maps or taking points at least off of these top teams, if Tempest Team and Ignite can beat them, I think they have a good chance of taking it all the way, depending on how this split goes for them.
And I think that's something that Fawn had mentioned, and I echo from that point of view as well. The whole wonder, I guess, surrounding some of this, the relegations, the addition of these new teams, is you have that ability to grind your way in to the PPC. You know, you've been working so hard with the squad, the relegation times or promotion, I suppose, if you're coming from the other side of things. You're able to make your way in. So big congrats to both of these teams, able to put something together, make their way into the PPC here for phase number 2, hoping to get their phase off with a win. Now, one thing Fawn and I had noticed, and I kind of curious on your thoughts around it as well. Genos far and away the most banned support in set number 1. 4 out of 5 games was banned out, picked up in the one game where he wasn't. But Fawn and I had noticed a distinct lack of Corvus kind of as an answer. Anything that maybe lends your mind to why that might be the case?
Absolutely nothing, Dave. Literally zero, zilch, nada. They phased into an alternate reality where Corvus wasn't allowed or something, and then
that's the only thing I could think.
We've fallen back into the wormhole. We're back into reality. I fully expect Corvus to be played at this. I'm shocked they played these pokey comps and had these ways to maybe like, man, Corvus would have been so great here. They have these two flankers or a flanker and a Vivian. Man, they would love a Corvus, but they got Ying instead against a Xin. It's not like you're stopping his heavy strike anymore. It's going through everything. He's cleaving you. Just sounds better for him. It's that confidence boost of getting that cleave across 2 illusions and 2 of your players. You're giving him at that point, just pick the Corvus. He's so good. I wish I could tell you why they didn't. I have no reason why. He's so impactful, and they just chose to go in another direction.
I'm glad you say that, because there were moments in those games where I'm sitting there like, all right, you know, there has to be something where he's not available. I'm like, you know, maybe literally last minute something changes around and Corvus wasn't. But he was, from my understanding, and just not picked up.
He absolutely is.
Maybe, yeah, right. Unless something changed in literally one day, don't see much of a difference there. Hey, we're going to see Corvus this time around here in this game. So
I told you, we're out of the wormhole. We're right back into reality.
Right, the EU wormhole, we zap back out over into Brazil. Looks like Bright Marsh, map number 1 here. A lot of talk, I think, maybe some talk, I don't know how much, truly around the Moji, some changes around Moji. Looks like Tempest team is going to opt for Moji here alongside that Corvus for Bright Marsh. Where do you think Moji stands in the current meta?
I think she might struggle just because of all the hit scans that are still being played. She had a place as an off tank, but they hit her sustain. And that was one of the things that she kind of needed the most. She had that healing, the lifesteal, the stacking rejuvenate. That's what made her playable in this off tank position. Not really there anymore. So they're going to have to play her in a different way. Maybe Corvus will kind of amplify that sustain a little bit. They have a very passive tank line, I would say, with the Sonora, Atlas, and Tyra. So Moji, kind of, again, isolated. She might be the only one who wants to get aggressive, and Shapiro is going to struggle, I think, to find that space into a Rom and a Vivian trying to run him down.
Well, it is time for Tempest up against Ignite Gaming. Game number 1 here on Bright Marsh. As close as EU has been over the last couple of days, Parallax had the exact opposite to say. in game in our Brazilian first set of Brazil yesterday. Clean 3-0, except for one dropped point. So Ignite and Tempest hoping to put on a better performance from what we saw yesterday. Already, Tempest a little mid-control here. 30% as Tyra's gonna plug out some good damage, drops down that firebomb. Haven't seen all that much Tyra, so I think a lot in the way of needing to prove that she belongs here in this meta for Tempest team up to this point. Great space control. Unfortunately, it is first blood over to Ignite. Rom picks that one up as the Moji takes a tumble. Penny controlling the space now.
Yeah, this aggression from the tanks, I think, is going to really be what opens things up. They have a lot of damage from this barrack, and the Ying will kind of supplement that sustain. Plus, Rom not going to let anyone go in on the sides. Darius just going to get staggered out. Second chance. You can never do it when you're retreating. It'll just end up making you waste even more time and fall eventually. Look at this early Accursed Arm too from Deja Vu. He was doing a lot of passive poke damage, and they can't really punish him. No one on Tempest team can follow that up. I do want to end one last thing before I give it back to you, Dave. Someone asked in the chat if there are any controller players in this game. I believe the only controller player in this game is Ganchi, playing for Tempest team, the one piloting the Tyra at this moment.
There you go, and Tyra has done some decent space controlling, though Tempest wasn't able to convert that over into a point just yet. 1-for-1 trade, though, on the back end. Deja Vu picks up the kill for Ignite Gaming to try to keep this cart moving forward. Ganchi, you know, the crossfire, massive damage output if you're able to connect onto the targets you have marked. Really set up some kills here for your team. Hasn't been the direct damage of choice, though, between the Victor, the Vivian, and the Tyra. The Accursed Arm back off of cooldown, though. Deja Vu is able to plug down some damage onto the lower ground here as Tempest team have to back their way off. A couple more shots, second chance used. And now you got no cooldowns, and Deja Vu makes them pay. Seismic Crash rings down, looking for the stun. Unfortunately, Moji is able, or stunned down right on the follow-up there from that ultimate. Kubi's gets the kill now. Or Ornstein as well is going to get one over onto Insane, and Ignite Gaming keep the cart rolling.
I love the peel from the Rom there. I mean, he countered out the ultimate by using his Cataclysm there to just face tank it, and then just body blocks for the Vivian. If they're shooting a Rom instead of a Vivian, you give your Vivian 7,000 HP, you know she's going to have an impact on the game at that point. Damage charts, I think, swaying heavily in favor of Ignite. Even with a Rom to buff the damage stats of Tempest. All their damage is hitting someone that's going to be counting on those charts. But Deja Vu, 6-0. Kubi's only 2 kills, but it's Vivian. She doesn't need to finish the kills. That's Deja Vu's job, and they're dominant on that side. Swap to the other graphs here, and Corvus is leading in the healing chart as well, I think. Outpacing a healer that pretty much only brings that overwhelming amount of healing to the table in a game.
Yeah, strong here for Ignite Gaming, but I agree, Rendention would be a saving grace for Tempest here. They have a couple of ultimates ready to go as well. Big Corvus ult, Crossfire not used on the defense, gonna have the Exiles as well. So Tempest team down 0-2. They have fast cap, they have the ability to swing first here should they choose. They're gonna push back Ignite Gaming, at least on the onset of this engagement. You can already see Deja Vu trying to make up some ground. Up there to the high ground he goes. Rendention's gonna spread out that healing to the best of his ability. Here goes Darius, pops the Exiles, but he cannot peek around the corner. 37 HP, has to give himself the second chance. So Tempest not able to find value from one of 3 ultimates that were immediately ready going into this mid fight. Deja Vu up and over, Accursed Arm. It's gonna ring down. One final shot onto the Corvus, and down he goes, 260 HP. Little counter healing there as well. Tempest got 70%, but now Ignite Gaming, they're getting the kills.
Kubi's literally could have been AFK during that mid because they never got in to pressure him. The rest of his team just stood around him and said, hey, Vivian's pretty good. Vivian's pretty good when you can't pressure, so let's just make that exact thing happen. Kubi's now from window to window, at least doing some window shopping across the entirety of Brightmarsh here, and they're not going to be able to push. This is where they were holding when they were pushing to cap last fight, and Ignite have already zoned them up here and are willing to spend the Illusory Rift to keep up the pressure as well.
That's right, the Illusory Rift for Ignite Gaming is going to buy them some early space here on this push. The Moji trading at 1 though on Ornstein. Down goes the Rom. Penny, you know, I remember calling a lot of his games as well in the PPC from phase number 1. I think great in that point tank role, so Ignite Gaming got to be happy with the way things have gone here. 3-0 to start off their phase. Deja Vu pulls one over onto Darius as well. 2 minutes left to avoid this game being over. Sub 10 minutes. I mean, we're knocking on the door of a 7-minute game if Ignite Gaming keep the value rolling forward here. This Tyra has taken a tumble, maybe one too many times, and Moji hasn't quite found much either. Deja Vu Up to the skies he goes. Accursed Arm shot down by Darius. And finally, that pesky Androx is taken care of. Insane, though, unable to get the ultimate off. Penny guns down that kill there. Dome shield over onto the point. Keep this cart rolling on forward. One kill pulled back now by the Moji. Ultimate from Corvus down onto the point as well. Kubi's, though, starting to find the damage. Tyra looking for a little bit of her own. The grenade launcher gets it done over onto Penny, and Tempest team have bought themselves some time.
Miracle there at the end, but they have just been cooldowns just to retreat at this point, which is going to make this refight a lot easier for Ignite, especially when you can't really pressure out as Tempest. How do they send to push that Vivian? They send Moji in alone and have the rest of them walk in? Inara Atlas can't cross that space, and I think that weakness in the draft is definitely showing strongly here. Have to hope they get Deja Vu, but with him walking away, just bleeding out health, and Ignite's going to win this war of attrition.
That's tough. Deja Vu gets the opening kill here. Now you gotta hope that you can get a trade back, but it's not going that way. Kubi's another one. Seismic crash down, catches out 3, but you got nobody alive to follow up with the damage. Insane, the last line of defense. Ignite Gaming roll this one in, I'd say, with ease. It's snag the 4-0 here. Brightmarsh, so well played right off the onset for Ignite Gaming. I think a couple of picks there for Tempest team that were hoping to do well. The Moji and the Tyra notably unable to connect for much damage, but maybe that's also a factor, Kresnik, of the fact that the entire game wasn't going for Tempest team, so really nobody got much value there.
Yeah, I definitely thought that the Moji faltered a bit. I'm not sure what they scrimmed with that Moji. I felt like every single time she tried to use her ultimate, it just didn't find anyone. Or the Moji did it right before she was going to die, using it to kind of self-peel. When you have that and you want to use it to maybe stop a ROM from coming in, the ROM's just going to wait. They're smart enough. Ornstein just didn't go in until Deja Vu and Kubi's had done enough damage where that Moji was going to either be desperate to use it or already be dead. Get rid of that counter and then move in. Ignite just, I think, clinically took apart the defense from Tempest because they didn't have a comp that could move and retake ground. They just had to sit there and let Ignite walk all over them.
And I've loved, we saw it in phase 1 here of the PPC as well, but the continued presence, there's just something so satisfying about watching a very skilled Androxus, the mobility, the snap shooting. I mean, the Mutu flick, I guess, is what it's aptly named. There's just something about these Androxi. You caught me. You knew where I was going with that one. The Androxuses, the Androxi, when they're just kind of off the leash a little bit, you got nobody keeping them back, holding them down, they can take some of these games over. And I think Deja Vu, to your point, was finishing up a lot of what the Vivian was setting up, but I think a great game there for Deja Vu to start off the face.
I agree. I mean, he charged so many Accursed Arms. I think I got every single one on camera, and he got like 5 in a 7-minute game. That's insane. I mean, that's a lot of damage he's doing too, and normally that should be the Vivian's job, but he's just destroying, I think, from up there. A very, I'd say, a carry level pick, honestly, that you can bring out. And interestingly, I want to go back a little bit and talk about the bans, because they were willing to let that Andro through to get rid of, let's see, if they were second pick, that means they banned Genos and Xin on the side of Tempest team. So they're prioritizing Xin on a map where Andro can just go over things and go right into your back line. And they were so worried about that sustainy horizontal flanker that they let him get that pick.
Now, a map that we have not seen very often, Krez, is Fish Market. And we are going to see it here between Ignite and Tempest team for game number 2. What kind of vibes are you getting from Fish Market? Obviously back in the rotation here for us.
My
same old, I guess. Yeah, right, sure. Do you like it? You happy with it? No?
Every time I get it's just, as a tank, it's just so hard to play, Dave. It's so wide. Everywhere you go is dangerous. There's snipers in every lane. A flanker tries to run away from you. Suddenly he's across the whole map. But neither of these teams are going to be too sad about how their drafts ended up, I'd say, on this map. I think having a sniper for both teams means you can just kind of play around them. They both have one stationary tank, one kind of mobile off tank, so neither are going to be too unhappy. Tempest ending up with their ban from last game. The ban phase this time got rid of the Corvus as well, with Genos and Corvus on their side. Talus Victor, so banned by Ignite. So it seems like they might actually be targeting Ganshi, but he got Eagle Eye Kinessa, and I don't think they can be too unhappy about that.
No, I'm sure you're thrilled to get Eagle Eye Kinessa on your side. We've seen snipers yet again so far in phase 2 taking over some of the games the way they did in phase number 1. Fish Market, absolutely a map or Ganji can have a big impact here. So it's time now for Tempest team to make good on some of the value that they've drafted. Ignite Gaming playing with a little bit of a lead here. They've got the Atlas on their side as well. Lots of big burst damage there. Kubi's taken down to half HP. Darius looking for the follow-up. Unable to find it. Has to dash his way away. Penny low. Has to use that second chance. Right back up to the high ground. This is a big early trade. Nice rewind. Slows down Darius. Nobody onto the point just yet. Both teams looking to win one of these trades before moving their way down. Flanks fighting on the side. Point tanks fighting on the other. Both teams going toe-to-toe up to this point, Chris.
Yeah, I think Tempest team was a little disconnected on the dive. That Ruckus has to have someone go with him. He went in alone and shifted the Strix for a little bit and then went down, but Tempest team strike first. Penny caught out, and the first percentage is finally getting done. Swordskin thinks the fight might be lost, but he saw some cooldowns up, and Deja Vu got straight onto Ruckus.
That's a fantastic spite to slow down the Juggernaut from following through. Deja Vu, you pointed out, Krez, double kill here in this fight. The Androxus picked up for him once again. That's a lot of what's keeping Ignite Gaming on this mid fight. 45% for Tempest team. Slow goings here on the mid, but down goes Insane. That's going to be a big opening now for Ignite Gaming. They're going to rock themselves forward. And down goes Damba as well. Kubi's, the Strix on the other side. It's going to have to go toe-to-toe with the Kinessa. I thought I heard some of those shots ringing out. Look at that headshot. Back goes Kinessa. 60%. This is tough for Tempest to fight back into.
Yeah, when your Kinessa's this pressured out, I mean, I don't think they really have a great way to get in. I think Ruckus is trying, it looks like, but already being stalled out. Might have been hit by a setback, and they're going to have to push into everyone getting healed with Illusory Rift. He'll throw away his life, but he's going right into a Cursed Arm.
And down he goes. That's Zeeds who grabs the kill there. Overtime on. Reset just once more, but you're fighting on a 4v5 disadvantage. To the side, there you go. Deja Vu tracks down the Zin. Seismic Crash being looked at here. Doesn't find all that much. Insane, though, following up on a good Dread Serpent. Actually, Tempest fighting back into this one. They're going to be fully reinforced here in just a moment. This overtime is going to absolutely disappear, though. Nice setback, and the ultimate's there from Ignite Gaming just to put the icing on the cake. And after 3 minutes of a mid-fight, they're up 1-0.
And that's the fish market, because no one wants to go to point because you're going to die immediately if you go to point. You have to know how to play it, and luckily for them, both teams do, and both teams, well, sorry, Ignite specifically want to keep up this pressure that they got from that win. Going super forward, everyone's stuck in this corner because they can't walk into a Strix. But Kubi's is abusing that. He's playing on this far side and taking a deep angle, and no one's going to be safe.
Down goes Kubi's this time, though. That's a big breath of fresh air, I think, for Tempest team on the defensive side to just get a one-kill win to maybe keep things where they are. It's such an interesting push as well, though, Krez. I mean, we talk about the mid-fight and how tanks don't really like going down onto the point, and you have to win the fight elsewhere before really garnering that percentage. Difficult, though, to be sure, to kind of push around this first choke point. I mean, you're fighting uphill into an enemy team that has a lot of cover where you don't have much, so not surprising maybe that Tempest has dug in their heels.
I think the way to take it is what Ignite started doing, but Shapiro rotated fast enough where they couldn't really get away with it. They pushed their backlines to the far, far right, keep them alive with a tank to protect them, and then everyone who's hiding in that corner just around to the left gets completely caught out. And you just get bled out slowly, and the stagger's too late at that point, but trying to get in a different way using that Exile instead. Catch one person, they're going to come with the Accursed Arm with it to get their first pick.
It's a great start for Ignite Gaming here. It's the Accursed Arm once again for Deja Vu, buying some space. Dread Serpent grounds all Androxus flights for the time being. Turns around, one final shot into Darius. Kubi's has got it. Deja Vu, look at that healing. Insane thought he had a moment there, but quite the opposite. The gate's now being stormed by Ignite Gaming. Up and over they go. Insane is just going to melt up so much of this damage. Actually, health bar not moving all that much until the Strix and the Androxus get involved. Now Tempest team all the way back off of respawns, fully staggered out here. 3 members left respawning, 2 left alive. Ornskyn's gonna make his way, juggernauting through, dash on in, another nice rewind. My God, this Atlas is controlling space, and Ignite Gaming takes a 2-0 lead.
I guess maybe I'm starting to understand why Atlas got banned in so many games in the EU set when you can hit setbacks like that. Just makes so much room, and I have to move it to items. Are they buying Razil? No, Illuminate instead. And
yeah.
I get that they have to pressure this Strix, but Darius has literally no way to avoid a setback. Ruckus has a big hitbox. He moves in a pretty predictable pattern. Penny is clearly connecting everything. He's going to have to get some level of resilience to actually be able to cross that gap and make it into the characters that he needs to be diving. Because otherwise, I mean, look at the damage charts. Kubi's under no pressure. Ganchi, just 7k above Ganchi.
And, I think hats off to the Kinessa for being able to hang in that damage department when everything has been crashing against you. But you need more, I think, from the rest of your team now, if you're on Tempest team. Bringing out a good headshot. So that'll really climb you up on those damage charts as well. Off around to the side. And, also difficult. You're fighting into an Atlas while Darius pops the Hexafire, and then Deja Vu pops him in return. So you thought you found an opening here, but quite the opposite. If your Tempest team still not moving all that far forward, Deja Vu continuing his tear here as Zin will take a tumble off to the backside as well. Ganchi peppers down some bullets, so Deja Vu finally meets his end. Tempest team building up 23%, but Ignite Gaming finally overrun them. They're going to take control of the mid.
I'd like to point out again that they're still at 20-20 more or less on the objective, because the point is still just that unsafe. Huge reversal from Deja Vu. Literally saved the game there. And actually the Cataclysm from Ornstein right in the face of despite no value from the Guillotine. And he might just, he won't walk away, but he'll absorb so much pressure.
Hey, there goes Ornstein. A wall resonating still from the Atlas. 48% now for Ignite Gaming. Insane throws up the wall, but still getting damaged from Deja Vu around the side. Just enough of an angle that Deja Vu can finish off the kill there, but Insane is going to have to be sustained up by his healer. Darius around the side here. Flashbang drops down. Dashes right back away. Tempest team content with throwing Insane now onto the point. 89% and climbing. Fast cap on the side of Tempest team, but the kills sure aren't, as Ignite Gaming are going to melt through the health bars of Tempest team once again. Krez, at this point, the zone might be complete enough for Ignite to take a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, now that they're capping, as long as they don't let anyone buy on Mount, which is almost impossible to let them buy. It's so open. They have to go in front of you. Darius gets probably as close as he's going to get. Finally spotted by Ornstein, and no amount of fuel reserves on Ruckus is going to let him touch, especially with a setback. No resilience again, pulling him all the way back to his own side, and it actually saves Koopies a little bit. Kira might get some pressure on him, but I don't think they'll be able to follow up on this kill.
All right, Krez, hear me out. That made me think.
I'm listening. Yes.
There's an item you can buy. I don't know what it's called yet.
Okay.
Maybe invisibility or something. Where if you are on your mount, you're invisible. So you can sneak your way through, and the only way you can get seen is if the enemy team has Illuminate. Rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. What do we think?
Closed beta Sky out of 10, because she literally used to do that exact thing. Because you could remount every second, more or less, and be able to sneak by. Unbalanced enough to unban, but maybe it's time. Who knows? And it's definitely time for Ignite to keep pressuring them right now. They walking through that temporal divide and just walked right over them. They need to hide more from this shield. When they put up a big shield, it's a big red flag that says, we are pushing you now. But I feel like Tempest team just keep disrespecting it. I've seen Ganchi try to peek someone through the temporal divide and die. They need to just back up when the big red wall is in the way.
Yeah, more conspicuous than the flag even. I mean, a massive wall dictates Ignite Gaming's pace here. And they sure aren't hiding anything. There's a Dread Serpent on the back line. That's going to buy Ganchi a kill over onto Deja Vu. Massive utility there, getting rid of the Androxus. But you got a minute left. This card has already started to crest this peak here. I think important for Ignite to stay alive, though. With a minute left, if you're going to get pushed back into the mid, Tempest fought tooth and nail to keep you at bay, and they're doing so again here. Insane, and now Darius able to both stay alive. So small wins for Tempest.
Very low. I'm surprised. I had to look because I saw how quickly he was getting his cooldown back. Fury Presence 5 from Redemption. It means he can't go Chronos 3. He won't get any more benefit. I think it actually has like a negative effect. He won't get his cooldown back, and he'll have his Gord and his Slither just a little bit less quickly than some other people will. His entire team is low as well. He just can't land a heal. Everyone's getting chipped away and just can't get any health back.
Well, here we go. Ignite Gaming. One last push to get themselves in. Insane taken down. Zin as well. Back and respawning. Ignite Gaming have the space, but they have the damage. They have the life pool to stay in the fight. Darius moves his way in. Nice shot there as Darius will clean up the kill. Down onto Koopies. Ignite Gaming roll it through. Now 8 straight points, and they take a 2-0 lead here in this set. Ignite Gaming have obviously come to play.
I need to personally apologize to Redemption for cutting to his camera at the worst.
Hey, your fault, man.
It is all me. I was like, I wonder what his loadout is, and then I just catch him having a moment. No matter how good you are, everyone has their moments, and I think he just got very unlucky with the time I decided to jump over to him. But Ignite, I think they've kind of kept the same MO these last few games, just isolating spaces of the map and being able to take pressure off of that, and Tempest not really having an answer. They tried. Ignite, I think Tempest, tried with that Zid. Right. Shapiru on that guillotine, constantly killing the ROM. I feel like it was almost 1-for-1 ROM deaths to guillotine uses. But the rest of the team just pushed up. They said, all right, well, if your Zin is so distracted with our ROM's just meant to be a distraction anyway. The rest of us are going to do whatever we want, play behind this temporal divide, and there's no way we lose a poke fight when you literally do 0 damage to us.
Yeah, and that's got to be tough for Tempest team, especially when you start off your phase this way. I mean, 0-4 in game 1, now 0-4 in game 2. A chance to, pick map here for game 3, Stone Keep. Looks like where we're headed. Corvus, Genos, both banned out. Kresnik, so we're going to have to see, well, different variety, I suppose, in that support pool as far as healing goes. But it seems to me like that next kind of step down from Corvus or Genos has been this Damba here recently. Damba Ying maybe in that next tier.
Yeah, I would agree, I think. Damba recently getting buffed. Even with resilience being as strong as it is, you can still cancel abilities with the reload stun or with the Dread Serpent. Ying just has that raw healing. Even with the caught buffs as well, healing is still always going to be good if you have a tank that can cleanse that cauterize and get themselves back up. Damba healing buff as well, so he's really outputting a great amount of healing, having that extra utility as well. And I think a big underrated thing about Damba is the Slither. It cleanses any non-stun CC effect. Yeah, so if he's slowed, if he's cauterized, he can Slither, throw a gourd at his feet. Immediately he's not worrying about anti-heal, getting that back. You try to duel him, you're taking gourd damage, he's getting gourd healing. Just a very hard support to pressure when you don't have your whole team to follow up on it.
Right, and I was having a conversation with Fawn earlier about the Ashe specifically and the Damba, obviously pretty centric around ultimate resilience now being a little bit cheaper. If those ultimates obviously lose a little bit of value, of course they lose a little value, right? I mean, they're never gonna have full value when resilience is as bought as it is right now. But I think you do a good job there of detailing everything else that Damba brings to the table. Won't matter here though, isn't in this game. Instead it is a Grover for Tempest team. A Ying over on the other. Grover, great here for Stone Keep.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some of the top PPC teams, the last split, kind of prioritizing this Grover. It's extra spam that you're putting into the doorways if you're playing outside. Also, that CC from the root, you know how effective that's going to be at stopping some of the members of the other team. It also cancels Atlas's second chance. He won't have the ability to rewind if you can burn him down fast enough. And Penny, comfortable enough against it where he's not even going to start with that resilience, even though with the new price you can start off right with Resil too.
Well, it's time now for Tempest team to bounce back in this set. They've got the utility for it. This is probably I say it hesitantly, but I think the first Eevee I've seen so far here in the PPC, Krez. Pretty banned out. One side or the other. Frog notably catching a few EV bans across the board there yesterday, but Tempest team are going to have the EV on their side. You look towards Stone Keep, a map where she can absolutely find pretty big value for Tempest team, and that mobility, the difficulty to lock down will be important. Unfortunately, though, doesn't work out here this time around as Ignite Gaming start off the game with a couple of kills. Insane being looked at, now ran at by 3 members of Ignite. Now Darius is going to fall as well. So Ignite Gaming pick up right where they left off over on Fish Market. A double kill from Penny. And Ignite are going to control the mid.
I love watching the pressure, I think, that they were pulling out. When you can walk into an Eevee when she has her wormhole placed somewhere, you can kill her. That's one of the weaknesses of Eevee. If you don't have your wormhole in a safe enough place, you just go down, especially if you're kind of autopiloting to go back to it. I do like how Tempest have picked up the ROM, I would say here, but them's the breaks, Insane. Sometimes you just immediately die when they have the right cooldowns, and Ornskeen's been doing so much damage. That guillotine was charged and ready to go.
Ignite Gaming playing near flawlessly here today, and unfortunately Tempest unable to keep up. Deja Vu, 3 out of 3 games now on this Androxus. He'll survive with 50 HP, 49 more than he needed. Down goes Darius, and up goes Ignite Gaming 1-0. It just is the continued pressure of all of the DPS and really even frontline. Kind of a complete team performance, I'd argue, from Ignite Gaming, keeping Tempest back.
Yeah, their coordination is actually huge. The way that they won that mid was just by pouncing on them inside. And look at this right now. Distraction from the ROM inside. Here comes Deja Vu around the side along with Ornskeen. They can't stop it. They're just playing off of each other so well.
My goodness. Tempest put up a bit of a fight here and there, but haven't been able to put together a clean team fight just yet. Nearly deleted upon exiting the base. All right, there's 2 minutes left in this push. 3 minutes left in the game.
Yes.
We're going to have to keep a counter of how much time Tempest can spend outside of their base. For the moment, it's going to be Rom. A little extra health. He doesn't count here in this regard because he's just going to sprint around up onto the high ground. I might not have been giving Tempest enough credit. Now, Deja Vu is going toe-to-toe with Rom. This is a battle to watch for sure. And actually, the rest of Tempest have finally bought enough space to leave their base. It's an accursed arm from the high ground, though, and Deja Vu makes him think twice. Things have calmed down, though. Ignite Gaming finds one pick.
Well, that counter I mentioned earlier actually ended up coming in clutch there. They had the root hit the Atlas. If Atlas can't second chance, he's not going to live through a Vivian's damage. Especially when you're playing that Temporal Divide talent, when you have that 21-second cooldown on your shield. You need every little bit of sustain you can get. That being denied from them, I think kind of allowed Tempest to resettle on this defense. Holding this high ground now with that Vivian. I think great position to have. They just have to be aware of Deja Vu. He's going to play all around these sides and abuse his Temporal Divide whenever it's active.
Into the ice block goes Eevee here. Deja Vu and Eevee going to be doing a good bit of battling. One more spike connects over onto Insane. Ganchi, though, knocks down Penny. Off tank for off tank. Similar presence brought through both of those two. Very difficult for Ignite Gaming to break through this archway here. Have a couple ultimates soon to get it done. Illusory Rift and Scout will be ready to go. Deja Vu around the side. Ice block forced out once more. Illusory Rift used this time around. In goes Deja Vu to follow this one up. Scout pops at the same exact time. Ice Storm back behind the cart. Here's the damage there. Whirlwind is going to see to it that it's not Tempest. Burning a lot of defensive utility here to keep themselves in the conversation as Deja Vu will dash away. The ice block used once more defensively. Keep Eevee alive. 15 seconds left. Ignite Gaming still a chance, but Tempest holding strong for the moment.
The solo tank Atlas with Temporal Divide is, I feel like it's kind of tough for Ignite to play around. When it works, but they just have to push whenever that shield is up. And again, like I said before, it's a huge warning sign. It's a big horn that just, we're about to push, watch out. And they know it's coming. So Tempest just fight another lane or just back up. They're able to hold because of that. I think Penny kind of faltering when he gets CC'd, when he gets hit. They just run them down and manage to get their first point of the set.
They're able to get themselves on the board, finally. Wasn't pretty, but they got it done on the defensive end. I don't know, Craig. I mean, Deja Vu, 5-1-7 here. Obviously not top damage in the game. That one goes over to Ornstein. But he's just run rampant, and it's so hard. I think there's a few good enough champs to ban out every single time. When a guy is playing this way on this Androxus, I'm very surprised they've let it through now 3 games in a row.
I mean, some of the things they've been banning, they must think are higher priority. Bans for this game from Tempest team, Corvus and Genos, again, following those pocket healers that apparently were only half important in Europe, but fully important over here. They don't want their DPS being enabled anymore. Maybe they think that Deja Vu on any other character with a Corvus heal is more dangerous than Deja Vu without it on Andro.
Well, the time is now for Tempest team not only to win a point, but to win a mid-fight. See if they can get Ignite Gaming on the back foot. The answer is no, as Kubies will find the opening kill here into the Billow. Goes Ornstein, and a Cursed Arm is going to force back Insane as well. The ultimate's very defensive in nature from Tempest team, whereas Ignite Gaming constantly pushing the issue forward. And who else finds a double? But Deja Vu here around the backside is the ROM. But now Ignite Gaming, they got the numbers advantage.
And I'm pretty sure this is the enemy spawn zone. They know he's here. This is a decent thing for him to be doing, I think, as long as he doesn't go down quickly. Shiguro actually here to help him, but oh no. That is unfortunate. He has no LOS for him to get healed. He does get the blink off in time, but I think they might just leave 2 players in the back. But it's insane. He avoids the setback, gets back to his team, but doesn't have the run to cause any more havoc until overtime might get triggered.
They have nothing else. The ROM is always hard to kill. You need a little bit of extra damage to force into it. Insane stays alive. Good damage from Kubies. Set back onto Insane, and down goes the ROM finally. Whirlwind used on the backside of the fight as Ornstein will whirl his way away from the fight. Ignite Gaming standing on the point all along. That'll be point number 2 over to the red side. Keep this momentum going, though. Big question here. Redemption gets gunned down in the backline by Penny, and this card is rolling.
Redemption just trying to buy as much time as he could on the objective. And Penny actually with a great exile, I would say, to keep his team able to control that objective. Anyone who tried to touch got exiled. Darius kind of panicked and tried to rotate over there in time, but couldn't make it all the way. Now Ignite in a similar position to from they were last game, setting up on the sides. They just want to find an early pick. It's tough, though. Rom and Inara aren't going to go down that easily. Vivian's going to be in the back line. They kind of have to just catch Shapiru between his cooldowns, or they're not going to get anything for free at the start.
Deja Vu, a cursed arm this time. Wall is going to separate the fight. Slowly listing lazily to the left goes Deja Vu, unable to finish off the kill. Maybe the old-fashioned way gets it done onto Darius. Turns around, the reversal here. Spite does connect, not for the kill this time around just yet. Just needs some more shots. Kubi's gets it. Shapiru fluttering around the high ground. Cart rolling itself further than it did the first time around. Tempest team still holding strong on the defensive front as Darius will respawn, push himself back in. Interesting from Zeets there. Makes his way into the back line around the cart. Redemption is going to clean up the kill.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're going down. Might as well just go in, trade for damage if you can. He just spent the Illusory Rift, so go in. Get healing, get damage, whatever you can to charge up the next one to try to convert this as soon as possible. I think I liked the way that Ignite tried to take it. I think if you let them push into you a little bit while spamming out Redemption, you kind of deny a lot of those heals. In the back, he's too far away to heal anybody, and now he has to come close. Cursed Arm forces him in, and they might actually get the Eevee with this. No, they get the Vivian instead.
Nice shot on the Ganji from Deja Vu here. That could be the opening of the defensive line. We'll send Redemption off to the side, but Deja Vu quick enough at tracking him down. Kubi's will finish off Shapiru, and the cart will likely finish off this round here. Insane left on defense. The cart is going to roll itself in. Ignite Gaming now 1 point away from taking the 3-0.
In their first set of the PPC too, I think a strong performance from these newcomers. Every single, other than Penny, every single member of this team, I believe, is fresh. And they've come out swinging, I would say. They were super dominant in relegations. They were strong in the open bracket too, and looking like they're going to be a force here as well. Love to see more competition, because the top 3 teams from the last split, I would say, kind of stayed about the same. If anything, just minor changes. Maybe even some upgrades in some rosters, so we might see a little more mixed competition in this unless Tempest can really wake up. Shapiru especially getting out damaged by his Ramen. 1 in 8 against this aggressive play from Ignite.
Well, it's time now for Tempest to convert some defensive potential over to now an offensive win. One final chance to keep themselves in the set. Prevent Ignite Gaming from fully running away with it. Scout popped early by Kubi's here. Wall buying plenty of value. Massive value, really, for Ignite Gaming here. Going to separate this by Tempest team. 4 ultimates ready to go. Ignite, though, they're going to run for swing first here. Exile really catches over onto 1, but Ignite Gaming roll themselves forward. Deja Vu finds the first shot down onto Ganji. Whirlwind times out. Did keep Tempest in the fight, but for how much longer, I'm not so sure. Darius left alone onto the point. Kubi's finishes off the Inara here. 78% for Tempest team, but Ignite quickly catching up. Insane, biding his time. Whirl right on through. Thank God Deja Vu was there. Rosornskeen might have fallen. It's a double kill for the Androxus thanks to the accursed arm. Ganji goes down once more. 69% and climbing for Ignite Gaming. Tempest team back and respawning, fully zoned out. I'm not sure the Inara is going to be able to waddle her way back to the point. 93, 96, make it 100 for Ignite Gaming, and the 3-0 is complete.
So great by the end there. They just played super far away, poked them down. They knew they were going to rush through that church side, so once they got it through, Deja Vu just poked them, slowed them, and like, oh God, the Andrew's right there. Can we get onto him? No, they're poking us from behind too. Wall comes up, Illusory Rift comes in, they all collapse into them at once. The DPS even peel for each other. We saw the Cassie get low. Ornstein on the Zin rotates just to face tank the Rom's damage for a couple seconds, saving the Cassie's health bar just enough, I would say, for her to stay alive and have that big game be even more of an impact.
That's right. Lots of damage. Great start here from what we've seen over in Brazil from this squad. I think, you have to be thrilled if you're on the Ignite side with the way your team has looked right off the bat here. You drop just 1 point in 3 maps. Obviously, the date with Parallax later on in this phase is the one, I think, where your eyes have to go now. That's what you're prepping for. That's it over in Brazil, though. Kresnik up next. We're going to have Flashpoint versus Snappin'. A fun look at a couple teams over in North America.
Yeah, but before we get over there, I do want to mention a couple things. One, the third match in Brazil, the reason why tomorrow there's only 2 games is because Fatal Ambition couldn't field a roster for this week. I believe it had something to do with probably half of the players leaving to play in relegations and them kind of having to piece it together from there. So In Control actually took a win there, a forfeit win from Fatal Ambition. So that's all the Brazilian games done. We have the full standings for that. So let me get those on screen right now. Parallax, Ignite, In Control. Clean 3-3-3 in the map differential, because all those games were 3-0s effectively because of that forfeit win coming out from Fatal Ambition. Tempest team, we just saw them struggle against Ignite and Carnage Gaming. Maybe just bad luck of the draw. Maybe they just need more time to re-gel after that break. Also, 0-3 in Fatal Ambition. Hopefully, once they get their roster together, they can have a look where they avoid relegations again in following splits.
You know, I think it's great that you bring up In Control, and we're able to see that they started up their phase with a 3-0. You know, we obviously give so much respect over to Parallax, and for good reason. I mean, they look near unbeatable, but this In Control squad, even from the minor league, you know, last year, you know, they stuck together. They worked their way into phase 1 of the PPC. They look, I would argue, pretty good from what we saw from them in phase 1, now continuing that pressure here in phase 2. So I think you're looking over here in Brazil. Of course, Parallax is going to be that team that you're chasing, but In Control absolutely here to play as well. So I'm not surprised at all, Krez, I don't think, by the top 3 teams we see out of Brazil.
Yeah, for sure, especially with how they looked. I honestly, I wish we could have gotten a look at In Control, though. They looked great last phase. I mean, they were the ones that took Parallax to the edge and beat them, I believe, even without Outlander maybe that week. But they have King Kaiser now. And King Kaiser is insane from what we saw from him in Team Clarity. Team Clarity got down to relegations, but every time we saw them play, King Kaiser was just pulling out another random champion that we hadn't seen him play before, looking crazy on it. And now he's going to be supplementing this already super talented roster of In Control.
All right, so now you look over towards North America. I brought up, you got, I believe, what did I say? Snappin versus Flashpoint is going to be the NA game that we have rounding things out. Flashpoint adding in Fasheko. So interesting that it's a new look here.
And T-Mac.
And T-Mac, right. So it is minus Invocal and Pan, plus T-Mac and Fasheko. Dosup's T-Mac, Vex, Fasheko, and Rubu make up this Flashpoint roster. Do you think this is a squad that can find some success in a region where Project and Sanguine have dominated the headlines?
They might be able to. I mean, we know these players are talented. T-Mac was just playing for Project last split whenever Ricardo wasn't going to be available. We know he can perform up there. What else can I say about Fasheko? The man plays Drogos on Frozen Guard. There's nothing else I could say, I think, that would hype him up any more than able to play a champion like that on a map that is kind of so far away from somewhere that you want to be playing him. Fish, super talented. Maybe the ping is an issue for him, but he's choosing to play with this. He's choosing to go over here and play it. I know that they've been playing in Russia servers on EU recently, so maybe he was already playing with that ping, and he's just been in that hyperbolic time chamber to dominate NA. Yeah,
I'm excited to see what comes out of this team here. Of course, on the opposite side, we'll get a look at Snappin, Woodknock, Stigma, Bones, Evil Eye as well. So keep your eyes on North America here. Obviously pretty contested from what we've seen in Europe. A lot of teams to look at over in Brazil as well. North America, absolutely one to follow here in the PPC. Sanguine, your North American champions, or really I guess phase 1 champions overall in the PPC. They won yesterday 3-1 fashion over Team Project. Stick around, everyone. Flashpoint versus Snappin right after this.